video on a live because there's a topic that's just on my mind, and I just seen that the someone mentioned about all the crime in New York City, and I was thinking about all the significant changes that have occurred in New York City. Um, so this is going to kind of get a little bit esoteric. It's going to get a little bit woo woo spiritual type of thing. Um, I've talked about this a long time ago. It seems like, but it's just on my mind, and I want to talk about it. And so, New York City. All right, so we're gonna get esoteric and whatnot, and I'm gonna get very do a solipsism experiment. Okay, we're just gonna pretend that it's just me in the world in this experiment, and and so it's 2018, and I have an artist brand. I'm starting to sell art. I sell a total of 39 paintings. I have a brand. I make flyers. I, you know, go to art shows. I did a world renowned art show. Uh, and, I'm really putting this energy out there I'm putting this energy out to, to shift my reality. Like I'm using willful, deliberate manifestation techniques, right? And I'm seeing an alternative version of myself in an alternative world where uh, I'm wealthy and I have power, but not in a domineering over others type of way. More like I just simply have power, right? Um, uh, Not in a political way necessarily, but I see myself in an alternate reality where I am uh, able to manifest things out of thin air and all that good stuff, right? So, um, hi y'all, what's up? So, what's up, y'all? So, anyways, it's just like this mental story that's going on, in my head that I'm just kind of making it up as I go, and so I start to, um, so I start to. Well, I appreciate that, y'all. Thanks. So, kind of got distracted there for a second. My bad. But anyways, so for a second there, it said I had 24 people watching, and then it just like dropped to 12. Anyways, so that, now it just dropped to 6. Interesting. Oh, that's okay. I just thought that was kind of interesting. So, if you don't know already, I got a son and he's playing video games in there. And it is pitch black because I am sitting here or laying here on the couch at night, fixing to go to bed. But I just seen this video where a guy was talking about how horrible the crime is in New York City. But and so it reminded me of like I had this you know, idealized mental picture of New York City, right? Where I imagined it as you kind of like imagine what it's known for, like the energy of New York and the potential for succeeding in New York and all that stuff, like it's where people get their fresh start in life and go to pursue their goals and whatnot. And also, like over in Brooklyn, it's like a huge art scene, and um, so I started to imagine myself being like in New York City, and I had a strong goal to go there. So I started like really envisioning myself going and being in New York City, and this was in 2018, and then even stronger in 2019, right? Like I was like, you know, planning my goals to end up there, and do art up there, right? Um, and then so what happened was all of a sudden out of nowhere, the COVID hits. COVID just happens out of nowhere, and then so I'm like, what the heck? COVID starts happening, and then almost like I manifested that, because now everything's shutting down, right? Everything's all shutting down. And then I started to see how, like, as a result of that, New York City just starts falling apart. And then the crime gets worse. Like, the crime's getting worse there. And it's almost like not really a place you want to go to now. It's not really what it was. It's just this crime-ridden place that it's losing its appeal, like, really badly. And almost like I manifested that, or the dark reality decided to uh, uh, make that happen to prevent me from going up there and achieving those goals, because the energy I was putting into it was uh, so strong. So it had to create more crime, a bad economic situation up there, make it horrible, make it bad, and as if I manifested that, as if it was fighting my intentions. So that's what it's like. It seems like the timing of it. I'm just doing like an experiment, here. Like, it's what it seems like it could be. And anyways, so that's what it made me think of. And then when I did not give up, I kept going. Like, that's preventing me. It's almost like it put that block up. And then it started to, yo, what's up, Rudy? What's up, Post Nostalgos? So we, so that's what happened, yeah. Almost as if that was deliberate, because I put that intent into the universe to make that happen. It knew it. It was the energy I put into it was so strong. It happened, and then it kind of, in a way, in a weird way, I don't know. It was in around 2020, right? And then June of 2020, this month, on the 20th of 2020, I will have had my son for 5 years now. On the 20th of June, it will be 5 years of him living with me, and but it's like, I'm not saying my son's blocking me, but I have to take on that responsibility, of taking care of him. And then but I'm still determined to be an artist, right? right? I'm still determined to achieve my personal goals and whatnot. And so it's about that time that they suspend the license, because I'm finally got my first place out to live in years, that I'm for the first time in many years, it's my own place. It's like June of 2020. I hadn't had my own place since 2008 at that point. So from 2008, 18, for 12 years, I never had my own place to live, right? And it's my first time in 12 years of having my own place to live. And so the reality saw that, said, "Oh no, I'm gonna suspend your license now." It says, "Oh no, I'm gonna get you immersed in these legal battles." Because I kept putting the energy out there, it's literally fighting me at that point. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, and even before that, you know, just as I was becoming like aware and grounded spiritually, as I began a certain shift, like at the end of internal shift. I hear you, man. Like you look at these major events that happen, they're all connected to when I had major shifts and was proactively putting the positive energy out. So when I was shifting into a better identity, which would have led to some success for myself, the universe, or I mean the dark reality, decides to make my brother go famous overnight and end up gaining 1.2 million followers at some point. But the fact that he went famous from a spiritual perspective was the dark reality attempting to place an obstacle in front of me. I mean, because I was becoming tapped in. So I think it was like, yeah, was it 2017? Let's see, 20. Yeah, I was becoming way aware of myself and how, like, I was really becoming aware of how to pursue my goals. And I started doing that, like, despite what I had been through legally. I was, it's like I'd went through the dark time, right? I had went through the dark time, come out of it, and became woke and aware. Part of that was this experience I had that I put a label on, and I labeled the experience the Silver Sun Anemoia, which was a series of events that happened over the course of 2 or 3 years. A certain series of events happened over the course of that 2 or 3 years, and that was my darkness. Then I came out of it with a brand new awareness and having shifted into a more powerful identity, and that made me, what's up me. um so so I shift out of that experience, kind of like a newer version of myself, um hardened and calloused, but in a positive way, with a new perspective and a new lens on life and reality, which means I've got new tools and weapons to move forward. And the moment I start to connect with that is when my brother overnight goes famous and makes my brother into an obstacle, right? The dark reality makes my brother into an obstacle because of the energy that I was putting out. It's like a side effect or a polar opposite energy that bursts out into the world. Like you put a ton of pressure on one end of one thing and then it causes the other end to burst, you know. It's kind of like from a spiritual angle or a spiritual level what was happening there, you know. And so now all the energy is directed at him, you know, in my life. Like all the people surrounding me, you know, all friends, family, connections, all the energy is now focused on my brother. And now he's perceived as this, like, people just overnight totally, literally overnight, totally did not focus on the fact that his overnight fame did not change who he was. Like, it's almost like they forgot that he was just always like a lazy person that never did anything, never worked, never had anything, and just literally a bum and even a leech on society. Like, and people overnight did not see that anymore. Like literally, and I mean this in the most literal sense. They did not see that he was that way. It's like overnight, all of the sudden, he's this ambitious person, and I'm not even saying that in a way where I'm not using any kind of hyperbole or any kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? I'm talking about literally, actually, like they started seeing him as this ambitious person who quote unquote made it, who has goals, who is this, you know, on his grind, and you know, and all that stuff, and you know, uh, and I've always been known as a very intelligent and creative type, you know, smart, strong, you know, determined, hardworking, and a lot of people could see that in my life, right? A lot of people could, even if they kind of resented me for it, and that's not me being arrogant. It's just facts. Some people they resented, especially some of the people that did all the drugs. They have this like opinion of me, like I think I'm better than everybody else and all that stuff. So you know, people kind of knew me as that, you know, like if there was anybody that was going to get anywhere in life and make something of themselves, it was going to be me. Like that, a lot of people actually seen me that way. But when my brother overnight goes famous, like all of a sudden people view him as ambitious, hardworking, like and an inspiration, and I'm not even exaggerating how overnight he went from being like a bum and a nobody, and then everybody just idolizing him and worshiping him as if like he, you know, as if he was all those positive things. And so all he had to do with his new found social media identity was just simply post something positive. In other words, like hey guys, keep up the hustle and the motivation. Never give up on your dreams. All he's got to do is just say something like that. He never was that type of person, right? Like all he has to do now is just make a post, and then people are like, "Yeah, you go, man. You're such an inspiration to me." Anyways, humans, right? So, anyways, uh, my point, to get back to my point, is like uh I'm putting out the energy shifted into this new identity after the Silver Sun Anamoya incident, that lasted over the course of several years. Um, and now I'm in my new identity, and I put that energy out there. So the dark reality has to attempt to uh, redirect energy. It wants the energy to be. It's gonna. My brother is an empty vessel, like, right. He has no soul, and so it goes inside of that vessel that was once my brother, and takes it over, and gives it fame and celebrity, and that removes all. In contrast, that makes me look like an idiot, especially because I was always the one talking about making money online, right? People heard me talk about making money with the internet, but then I never did it, you know. Then all of a sudden my brother does it, so that means that anything that I had said must have been stupid, right? But you know, so that's what I'm saying. So when you become aware of the reality and how to manipulate it, and you actually start doing it, it immediately just like fiercely fights back. So then my brother, that happens, but then like it doesn't phase me, so I keep going. And as I said earlier, I think before Post Nostalgos got on here, um, I think that I was saying that this is kind of like a thought experiment, kind of like a solipsistic thought experiment. Like I'm the only one in this reality, and I'm surrounded by darkness and trouble, and I figure out how to overcome it, and I bend the reality. I learn how to bend and manipulate reality, and as soon as I do, it it I imagine myself in New York City, and I'm headed in that direction. I start doing the things that will take me there, and then all of a sudden, COVID hits, and then also out of nowhere, COVID hits, and as a result, New York City becomes this crime-ridden, like nearly like a no man's zone, a post-apocalyptic like nightmare. I mean, if you go on YouTube and look up Cash Jordan, he makes videos about how bad it is in there in New York City now, and so it's almost like it's just falling apart as a result of what I did. Like I did that, right, as a thought experiment, right, and so that is preventing me from shifting into a reality where I'm living in New York City doing my thing, right, up there. So um uh-oh, I gotta put y'all on hold for just a sec because the outdoor light just came on, and I need to make sure nobody's creeping around my property where I'm at. So hold on for just a moment. Okay, looks like they're still up and awake, so it's probably one of the animals. Just wanted to make sure because it's like a motion sensor light. So yeah, anyways, so every major event afterward was a side effect of me pushing the reality to try to make it yeah, can't believe I would do that, but you know, it becomes aware. So it becomes aware that now you have the power to shift and bend reality, and so you start to bend and shape the reality to manifest what you want. it notices it, as I've mentioned before. You ping the matrix, you ping the ether, you put a ping out there, and then it signals out to the dark reality, and the dark reality attempts to put up the barriers once you reach that point of how to do it. Um, and so on the surface, it's you could rationalize that's what is happening once you become more. And if you look back on the timeline of the events that occurred, you could rationalize that is what happened after the Silver Sun and Amoya experience. Stepped out of that, a new person, new identity. Start manifesting the reality I want. Start majorly stepping in that direction, doing a lot of meditation, and not just like meditation, just like crossing my legs and breathing deep, but I mean like really doing like visual imagery exercises, like, and in my mind throughout those exercises, and in those exercises as well as like just throughout the day, I'm constantly imagining myself there, like I'm living it already now. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that's the way I was doing it. I was like in my mind living in that reality, and b- before it manifested. And so instead of that materializing, it's just like uh, the movie Dark City, right, where the reality just starts to shift. Like at 12 o'clock at night, the reality shifts into a whole nother reality in the movie Dark City. But it's almost like though instead of it's almost like that. It reminds me of that, anyways. Like so, come out of the Silver Sun Anemoria era and into the new identity, and I say, hey, I'm living in New York City. I've got this apartment. This is what my apartment looks like. This is what I do for a living, and I'm living it, right. And every day I wake up and I say, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful for the water, because I'm doing this living out of my truck, right? I'm thankful for having water. I'm thankful for having money. I'm thankful for having a cell phone. I'm thankful for having a truck. I'm thankful for having um, uh, energy supplements. I'm thankful. And I would, every single morning, I would wake up and I would say, I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful that my son is living with me. I would say that. And then eventually my son comes and lives with me, right? So then I was saying that every single day living out of the truck. First thing I would say when I wake up, I trained myself to think that. And then, but it's kind of like the way the reality shifted in Dark City. It's like I imagined myself being an artist, and I also, and there I was selling paintings. I actually was selling paintings. It started to manifest. I did the world renowned art show, the Raw show, and I sold $100 worth of art in Kentucky at a flea market. I did an art show in Florida. I did. I sold. I put up I don't know if anybody bought anything, but I put up a display in Savannah, Georgia, and then at a flea market, because I rented a car and I went traveling around with my art and my display, and I had flyers made up. I'd pass out business cards, and so there I was actually, that was the thing that set off the dark reality. It was seeing that I was manifesting. I was literally manifesting. I was I was being it. I was being who I really wanted to be, right? And so then uh almost like it's threatened. So it has to bring COVID along to stop me. It has to bring COVID along. It has to bring COVID along to stop me. And then it realizes it's not stopping me. So it has to mess up New York City along with it so that I can't fulfill that. But then it's not stopping me. So what's it got to do next? Because now I got my son. I got my own place to live for the first time in 12 years. I'm making my YouTube videos. I'm putting the trailer together like that I'm staying in, and I'm about to make content that's going to be entertaining and of value to people, and I'm not stopping. So what's it got to do? Suspend my license to try to stop me, right? It's got to suspend my license. Oh, great. So now all my plans are going to crap. But you know what I decide to do? I'm not going to let it stop me. So what does it do? It enmeshes me into a court case that has nothing to do with me alongside having my license suspended. So I'm not stopping. So I create Stardust Simulation channel. Now, oh no, what? He's still not stopping. Now he's got a new channel. It's Stardust Simulation. What can we do now? Well, let's take him out of his house. Let's figure out a way to take him out of his house. And then that's when I received the notification that the landlord is selling the property. And then I must move out within 30 days, right? And that landlord, the owner, had told me that he had plans to sell that property at some point in about 5 years. But because I started Stardust Simulation, the dark reality said, we got to do something about that. So what does it do? It sends this property management company called Monarch Properties to buy the property up. Monarch. MK Ultra, Monarch Mind Control, if you know what I'm talking about. The name of the program is Monarch. These strangers that don't exist in the community suddenly show up out of nowhere to buy this property, and the landlord who said he was going to sell the property in about 5 years leaves me thinking, well, I get to live in this cheap, affordable home and stack my money for the next 5 years since he's not planning on selling it. But nope, I created Stardust Simulation. And when the dark reality saw that, it's like, nope, we need to kick him out. We need to remove him from this revenue generating system he's about to create. Because, dude, I'm telling you, I had some fun plans. I had some creative plans for that place. I had some awesome stuff that people would like. And I know they would too, because if you look on the internet, I see some of the things people are doing on social media for content, and I see the types of stuff people like, and I'm thinking, ooh, if I do this and put my own creative spin on it, a lot of people are going to like this. And I'm not saying I would have become famous necessarily, but I would have definitely developed a niche. I would have definitely acquired a large, following of people that thought my stuff was interesting, and then I'd be stepping more into that real identity of being the real me. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at the timeline, the trajectory of things, and how and when and why things played out, how they did and when they did, it appears that it kept attacking me the more I stepped into that identity. So so yeah. I remember your Rubik's Cube theory. I don't remember it specifically. Uh, I remember watching the video or listening to the video about it. I will have to revisit that. Well, definitely, I will revisit that. I've been listening to y'all's videos, yours and Kirk's, over at Metaphysical Post Nostalgos and Metaphysical Truths in Games. Um, yeah, to. I've been listening to the videos, the response videos, and the response to the response videos, and the response to the response to the response videos, and the response to 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 the response videos. I've been listening, I've been listening to them all. What is super gay? The Rubik's cube theory. Um, but yeah. Um, on one of your videos, how you explained the what is I can't remember. I'll have to revisit that too. Like, and it might be the same thing. It might the Rubik's the responses. Uh, uh, why are you gay? But yeah. What was I saying? So yeah. I remember one video you made where you were explaining how you believe the when a Mandela effect happens, that it's kind of like a correction, like the reality kind of correcting itself. I believe that was you, where you were saying like the reality is uh, it's correcting itself, like it's adjusting. So then you see like a Mandela effect as a result, kind of like it's kind of like a glitch. It's kind of adjusting itself. Yeah, I remember that one. Well, all right then. All right. I don't know. I don't know why I just thought about making that, but that's all I got to say about it, really. Error correction code. Yep. Yep. Error correction code. If y'all don't know what we're talking about, just go on Post Nostalgos and look up his stuff. He's got some videos about his views on the reality and how it works and why it works the way it does. But yeah, I made a live tonight because my phone storage is full. I've actually recorded like 4 different videos, and I figured there's no way my phone has enough room for me to make another video. So I was gonna go ahead and get on a live because I said I wasn't gonna make a live until I got 200 subscribers. Like I would do a live after I got 200 subscribers, uh, and per 100, I would do a live every 100 subscribers. If my channel started to gain some traction and got some people interested in the content, I would do a live every 100 subscribers. Uh, about escaping the and I would discuss the topics of escaping the matrix within the simulation. In other words, becoming free within the reality. Like, I think it's uh, important we find freedom, whatever that is to you. Like, whatever freedom means to you is what you should be striving for, and that's what I believe. Whatever freedom means to you, but we've been taught what freedom is. We're told achieve your dreams, reach for the stars, achieve your goals, and then when they tell you that, you start moving towards that, and they go, "Oh, but wait," uh, and then they hand you a script that says, "This is what your goals are. These are your options of your dreams and goals," and that's what they do. And basically, that you know usually means get a job, and get a get a mortgage and just be happy, and achieve your dreams, reach for the stars, right? So they define what the happiness is. They say that you have the right and the freedom to pursue happiness, but then they define what the happiness is. And I'm here to say, you know, align with your true identity that's found by going back in time and traveling back in time to see what you did naturally as a kid. That's where you're most likely to find your true authentic self or identity, by traveling back to see who you were as a kid and what did you do naturally. So me, I drew pictures a lot. I made stuff out of whatever and made a bunch of art, and then I would sell it as a kid, or I would sell stuff. I went door to door selling gravel, like rocks. I would went out onto my street and put a bunch of rocks in a box, and then I went knocking on doors and I told people, "Hey, like, I want to sell you these rocks. I picked out the most interesting looking rocks, and you can." And I remember telling this one lady, it was like, you could put a pattern of rocks and line them up all around the border of your coffee table and make it look cool. And I was kind of like selling, right? I was in business as a kid. And then at age 11, I used to sell Ninja Turtle drawings. And and on Sundays when my parents would go to the laundromat, I'd walk over to Target and purchase Ninja Turtle toys uh, with the money I made off of my drawings of Ninja Turtles. I would purchase Ninja Turtle toys. So I don't know if that offsets my obligation to pay Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird some royalties, but um, I think I'm good. I don't think I owe them anything since I bought the toys. But kind of a joke, kind of. But anyways, so that's who my authentic self is. I'm a creative person that likes to make things and sell things, and so everybody's got to figure out, you know, not necessarily what the school system teaches you. The school system told me, here, take this test, and then when I was done, they said, well, the job that you would be good for is at the Chamber of Commerce, and when you get your job, you should go work for the Chamber of Commerce. Well, what do they do? They actually had me in middle school or in high school go work for the Chamber of Commerce for a day, and they said, yep, we set up events all over the city, and we bring businesses together and help people network and help the businesses network, and they said you can be like an event coordinator and basically tell the businesses where they're going to set up their booth and advertise for it, and then like have like a festival, and and uh and then, but back then as a kid, as a teenager, I didn't know that these businesses were just my peers offering products and services. uh but back then it's almost like these businesses are these authorities that and you can help these authorities like make money, which it didn't make sense. That's what the school system told me the job I was best suited for. So weird. Everyone lets the authority define freedom. It's a twisted system. It's a twisted system. Yep, totally. They define what the script is, which is weird, is because they use like I remember you saying that talking about family and people like not people have this thing against having children and stuff like that and I'm aligned with you on that because I believe that people should have families and have kids. Um, uh, but the way the system is set up, it's kind of like using a good thing against people. So they're selling you on this idea. Hey, once you get out of school, you get your good job and get your family, and then now you're happy. Just so that's happiness. Like get your job, get your family, and now happy. That's the goal in life. That's just what you do. Have the job and then find the one, have the kids, have the family, and that's happy. And that's one of the many things that they tell you is the happiness. And so they pervert. It's perverted. The way they teach it is perverted, is a perversion of the real thing. So while having the family and the kids is an amazing thing, what they do is they funnel people through the script and tell them this is the happiness. So you figure out your task that the authority is going to give to you, and then now go have your family, and that's happy. Like, um, so it's good. So they're using something good and kind of like twisting it a little bit. But anyway, so yeah, I need to get to bed because I got a fun week ahead of me. I hope you guys have a good evening, and I appreciate those that stopped by that aren't on here anymore. Uh, Appreciate you stopping by, even if you don't hear this, and those that are still here. I appreciate you stopping by and listening. And yep, y'all take care, and we will see you soon. Good night, man.